What if I told you there are 3 words so powerful that when incorporated into your daily life, they begin to attract money to you almost magnetically? I'm not talking about magic or secret formulas, but proven principles that have transformed the financial lives of thousands of people. Today I'm going to reveal these 3 words which, according to Napoleon Hill, are the foundation of all true fortune. The wealthiest people in the world, those who have built empires from nothing, share something in common. They mastered these 3 words long before money began flowing to them. And in the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly how to implement them in your life so that money starts seeking you out, instead of you desperately chasing after it. The first word that attracts money immediately is decision. Most people live in a constant state of indecision. They spend days, weeks, months, and even years debating which path to take, which business to start, which investment to make. Meanwhile, opportunities pass before their eyes without them doing anything about it. Napoleon Hill discovered, after interviewing over 500 millionaires, that they all shared this surprising characteristic: the ability to make quick decisions and stick to them with determination. People who fail to accumulate money without exception have the habit of making decisions, if at all, very slowly, and of changing them quickly and frequently. These words from Hill resonate more today than ever. In a world where we're overloaded with information, analysis paralysis has become the silent pandemic killing the financial dreams of millions. Have you ever found yourself researching a topic for weeks, gathering all possible information, consulting with friends and family, only to end up doing nothing? That's exactly the trap you need to avoid. Successful people make decisions quickly and change their minds slowly, if at all. Meanwhile, average people make decisions slowly and change their minds quickly at the first sign of difficulty. What makes decisions so powerful for attracting money is that it activates what Hill called the infinite power of the definite mind. When you decide firmly, your entire subconscious mind begins working in alignment with that decision. You start noticing opportunities that were invisible to you before. The right people appear at the right time, necessary resources begin to manifest. But none of this happens while you remain in the limbo of indecision. Think about this. How many opportunities have you let pass because you were thinking about it? Wealth doesn't wait for those who are eternally considering their options. Money flows to those who decide to act, while others continue contemplating. Here's a practical exercise you can do right now. Identify a decision related to your financial prosperity that you've been postponing. It could be starting that side business, investing in your education, or reorganizing your personal finances. Now give yourself exactly 60 seconds to make that decision. Not 61 seconds, not a day, not a week. 60 seconds. Clarity comes with decision, not before it. Napoleon Hill said, "Don't wait. The time will never be just right." Start where you are, with what you have, and work with whatever tools you possess. Once you make this decision, write it down and commit to not revisiting it for at least 30 days. Let the seed of that decision take root before allowing doubts to try to uproot it. If you truly want money to begin flowing to you, you must become a decisive person. No fortune has ever been built on the foundation of vacillation. People who make quick, firm decisions are the ones money seeks, because the universe rewards clarity and determination. Indecision is a repellent magnet for prosperity. Instead of asking yourself, "What if I'm wrong?" start asking yourself, "What if this decision leads me exactly where I need to be?" The fear of making mistakes has kept more people in poverty than anything else. Remember that even a wrong decision will give you experience and learning, while indecision only guarantees you'll stay exactly where you are now. Repeat this phrase every morning for the next 30 days. I am a decisive person. I act quickly and with determination toward my financial goals. Money flows to me because I have absolute clarity about what I want. People who have become money magnets have mastered this art, making quick decisions, implementing them with immediate action, and maintaining them with determination despite obstacles. They're not smarter than you, they've simply understood that decision is the first catalyst of all fortune. If you're still not seeing the financial results you want in your life, ask yourself honestly, How many important decisions have you postponed? How many times have you changed direction at the first sign of resistance? The answer will reveal why money isn't flowing to you as it should. And that's what we'll talk about in the next point, because decision alone is not enough. It needs to be backed by the second word that attracts money immediately. The second word that attracts money to your life immediately is persistence. Napoleon Hill defined it as the faculty of will that allows a person to maintain their desires, plans, and purposes until they have been realized or materialized in the desired form. Persistence is the power that turns decisions into concrete results. Here's the truth few want to hear. Money doesn't flow to the talented, nor to the smartest, not even to the hardest workers. Money flows to the persistent, to those who refuse to give up when everyone else has thrown in the towel. Hill studied Thomas Edison, who failed more than 10,000 times before perfecting the electric light bulb. When asked how he felt about failing so many times, Edison replied, "I haven't failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that don't work." This mindset is exactly what you need if you want money to seek you out. Most people give up just before the point of success. They surrender when they're millimeters away from their big financial breakthrough. Have you ever wondered how many people were on the verge of discovering something revolutionary but gave up too soon? History is full of such cases, people who abandoned just before their moment of victory arrived. Persistence to character is what carbon is to steel, Hill said. Without it, you remain just iron, useful, but never extraordinary, never truly valuable. Persistence is what turns good intentions into tangible results, and it's precisely what transforms your financial potential into real wealth. Think about the richest people you know or admire. Do you think they got there without facing obstacles? Each of them faced moments when everything seemed to indicate they should give up. The difference is that they persisted when others in their situation would have abandoned ship. Money tests your determination before surrendering to you. It's as if it wants to make sure you're worthy of possessing it, that you won't squander it at the first obstacle. Financial prosperity requires you to pass through trials by fire that will forge your character until you become deserving of it. Here's an exercise to strengthen your persistence. Identify the biggest obstacle you currently face on your path to financial prosperity. Now, instead of seeing it as a barrier, redefine it as a test specifically designed for you. What quality is it trying to develop in you? What lesson do you need to learn from it? When you change your perspective on obstacles, they cease to be barriers and become springboards. Napoleon Hill discovered that persistence is based on 4 fundamental pillars: a definite purpose, desire, self-confidence, and a definite plan. Without these elements, persistence becomes mere stubbornness. It's not about banging your head against the same wall over and over, but about maintaining your clear vision while adjusting your strategies as necessary. Lack of persistence is one of the greatest killers of prosperity. People start with enthusiasm, but at the first or second difficulty, they abandon ship. It didn't work, they say, when in reality they didn't give it enough time to work. The greatest fortunes have been built on the foundations of initial failed attempts. Remember the first time you tried something new? You probably weren't excellent right away. Learning to walk required dozens of falls. Learning to speak involved years of practice. Yet as a child, you had a natural persistence that allowed you to master these skills. What would happen if you applied that same level of unbreakable persistence to your financial goals? Repeat this affirmation daily. I have steel-like persistence. Obstacles only strengthen my determination. Money flows to me because I never give up on what truly matters. People who attract money to their lives have understood that persistence isn't just about keeping trying. It's about continuing to grow while you try. Each failure brings you closer to success if you extract the right lessons from it. Each overcome obstacle increases your market value because it makes you wiser, stronger, and more valuable. Napoleon Hill discovered an interesting pattern. Just before great success, almost all the successful entrepreneurs he studied faced their most difficult test. It's as if the universe wanted to perform one final check before delivering the rewards they sought. Most people interpret these final tests as signs they should give up, when in reality they're signs they're closer than ever. If you've been persisting on your path to financial prosperity and still don't see the results you expect, you may be right at that critical point, one step away from your big breakthrough. The question is, will you have the persistence necessary to take that final step? And that's what we'll talk about in the next point, because there's a third word that, combined with decision and persistence, creates an unstoppable trio that attracts money like a powerful magnet. The third word that attracts money immediately is action. You can make all the decisions you want and be persistent in your intentions, but without concrete action, everything remains in the realm of dreams and fantasies. Napoleon Hill expressed it pointedly. Knowledge will not attract money unless it is organized and intelligently directed through practical plans of action. This is the point where many fail on their path to prosperity. They get caught in what Hill called analysis paralysis. They study, plan, dream, visualize, but never act with enough determination to turn those plans into tangible results. Action is the bridge between the world of ideas and the world of concrete results. It's what separates dreamers from achievers, those who talk about wealth from those who actually generate it. Have you noticed how many people you know are always planning their next big business but never actually launch it? They're always about to start, always need a bit more research, always waiting for the perfect moment. Hill discovered that true fortune creators have a distinctive characteristic. They are men and women of immediate action. When they identify an opportunity, they act with a speed that to many seems reckless. But it's not recklessness, it's decision followed by immediate action. Don't wait. The time will never be just right, Hill insisted. Those who wait for the perfect moment end up waiting forever. Ideal conditions are a myth, an elegant excuse to justify inaction. People who attract money to their lives understand that imperfect action beats perfect inaction every day. Have you ever wondered why some people less talented or less prepared than you are achieving greater financial success? The answer is usually simple. They're acting while you're still preparing. They're making mistakes, learning, adjusting, and moving forward while you're looking for the perfect plan that will never exist. Here's a powerful exercise. Identify a specific action, no matter how small, that you can take in the next 24 hours to move toward your financial goal. It doesn't have to be perfect, just concrete. Now, commit to doing it without excuses. This simple act of taking immediate action will instantly separate you from 95% of people who remain eternally in the planning phase. Napoleon Hill observed that the richest people in the world had this quality in common, the ability to act quickly once a decision was made. They didn't allow themselves the luxury of procrastination or constant doubt. They understood that momentum is crucial for financial success, and momentum is only generated through consistent action. Action is the real manifestation of thought, Hill said. You can think about being rich all day, but without action, those thoughts are seeds that were never planted. The law of attraction, so popular today, works precisely because of this. When you constantly think about something and act in accordance with those thoughts, you create the conditions for it to manifest in your reality. Many people confuse activity with productive action. They're busy all day, but that busyness doesn't bring them closer to their financial goals. The action that attracts money is the one directly aligned with your prosperity objectives. It's strategic, not just movement for movement's sake. Repeat this affirmation every time you feel procrastination creeping in. I act immediately on my valuable ideas. Money flows to me because I transform my thoughts into concrete actions every day. Financial opportunities have an expiration date. They appear for a limited time and then disappear, or are seized by someone else. The difference between those who take advantage of them and those who lose them is usually the speed of action. The former act when the opportunity is fresh, while the latter let it cool while considering all possible risks and scenarios. Hill studied Henry Ford, who didn't wait to have all the details resolved before he began building his automobiles. Ford once said, "If I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses." Action allowed him to create something people didn't even know they needed. He didn't wait for the market to be ready. He acted, and the market adapted to his vision. Money responds to decisive and persistent action. It's as if it has its own intelligence to detect those who are truly committed to prosperity, not just talking about it. When you combine firm decision, unbreakable persistence, and immediate action, you create a force so powerful that money begins to flow to you through channels you didn't even know existed. Have you noticed how, when you finally commit to taking action in an area of your life, resources, people, and opportunities that were previously invisible to you suddenly appear? This is no coincidence. It's the direct result of aligning your thoughts, decisions, and actions in a clear direction. And that's what we'll talk about in the next point, because there's a fundamental element that enhances these three words and turns them into an irresistible force for money. The fourth element that multiplies the attraction power of the previous three words is faith. I'm not necessarily talking about religious faith, but what Napoleon Hill defined as the visualization and belief in the attainment of desire. It's the unshakable conviction that what you seek is already on its way to you. Faith is the invisible fuel that powers your decisions, sustains your persistence, and energizes your actions. Without it, your efforts lack the magnetic force necessary to attract true abundance. As Hill said, faith removes limitations. When faith is blended with thought, the subconscious mind instantly picks up the vibration, translates it into its spiritual equivalent, and transmits it to infinite intelligence, as in the case of prayer. Have you noticed that some people seem to have an absurd confidence in themselves, even when circumstances don't seem favorable? That's not arrogance, it's faith in action. They've trained their minds to see beyond current circumstances and connect with the vision of what's to come. Most people operate with what Hill called negative faith, the limiting belief that obstacles are permanent, that they're not deserving of abundance, that wealth is for others, but not for them. This form of thinking creates an energy field that repels money instead of attracting it. Positive faith, on the other hand, creates a magnetic field around you that begins to attract the circumstances, people, and opportunities necessary to manifest your financial vision. It's not mysticism, it's practical psychology combined with universal spiritual principles. Here's a transformative exercise. For the next 30 days before sleeping, spend 10 minutes visualizing with absolute clarity and feeling that you've already achieved your financial goals. Don't do it as if imagining something distant, but as if remembering something that has already happened. Feel the gratitude, joy, and satisfaction of that reality. This exercise, practiced consistently, recalibrates your subconscious mind to align with that vision. Napoleon Hill observed that people who amassed great fortunes shared this characteristic. They believed in their success long before it physically manifested. Henry Ford believed he could build an engine in a single piece when all the experts of his time told him it was impossible. His unshakable faith led him to find the solution when others had already declared failure. Faith is the starting point of all accumulation of riches, Hill affirmed. Without it, even the best strategies and most detailed plans lack the vital energy necessary to materialize. Faith is what keeps you moving forward when there's no visible evidence of progress, when everything seems to indicate you should give up. Have you ever experienced how doubt and fear can paralyze even your best intentions? That's the absence of faith in action. But you've also experienced moments of absolute certainty, where you knew in the depths of your being that something was going to work, even if you couldn't explain why. That's faith in its purest state. Money is sensitive to faith. It flows to those who firmly believe in their ability to generate and manage it. It moves away from those who constantly doubt, from those who feel unworthy of possessing it, from those who believe in scarcity rather than abundance. Repeat this affirmation daily with absolute conviction. I have unshakable faith in my ability to create wealth. Money flows to me because I deeply believe in my worthiness and in the infinite possibilities of the universe. People who have mastered the art of attracting money have understood something fundamental. Faith is not something you have, it's something you practice daily. You cultivate it through positive affirmations, creative visualization, constant study, and association with people who elevate your vision rather than limit it. Napoleon Hill discovered that faith can be developed through repeated autosuggestion. When you constantly repeat your prosperity affirmations, when you regularly visualize your financial success, When you act as if you were already the prosperous person you aspire to be, you're nurturing the seed of faith until it becomes a powerful force in your life. Faith transforms not only your external circumstances, but also your internal experience. With genuine faith, obstacles cease to be barriers and become opportunities for growth. Delays cease to be frustrations and become necessary preparation time. Failures cease to be endings and become invaluable lessons on your path to prosperity. And that's what we'll talk about in the next point, because there's a fifth element that, combined with the previous ones, creates an unstoppable force that not only attracts money but multiplies it exponentially. The fifth and perhaps most transformative element that powers the three words that attract money is burning desire. We're not talking about a simple want or would like. The burning desire Napoleon Hill referred to is an obsession, a fixation so powerful to achieve your financial goal that it consumes your thoughts and directs your actions. The starting point of all achievement is desire. Keep this constantly in mind. Weak desire brings weak results, just as a small fire makes little heat, wrote Hill in his masterpiece. Burning desire is the internal fire that fuels your decision, sustains your persistence, drives your action, and strengthens your faith when circumstances seem adverse. The difference between those who accumulate wealth and those who only dream about it lies precisely in the intensity of their desire. The former have turned the desire for prosperity into a healthy obsession that guides every aspect of their lives. The latter maintain that desire as a pleasant preference, something that would be nice to have. Have you wondered why some people seem to magnetize financial success, while others, equally talented, remain stagnant? The answer is usually in the temperature of their desire. Those who attract abundance have raised that desire to the boiling point, where it becomes a force that reorganizes their entire reality. Hill studied Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men in history, who started as a poor worker earning pennies a day. What distinguished Carnegie wasn't his intelligence or luck, but his unbreakable desire for prosperity. That desire led him to seize opportunities that others didn't even perceive. Here's an exercise to intensify your desire. Write in extreme detail exactly what you want to achieve financially. Don't be vague like, "I want to be rich," or "I want more money." Specify the exact amount, by when you want it, what you'll do to obtain it, and what you'll do once you have it. Read this statement aloud twice a day, upon waking and before sleeping, with all the emotion and conviction you can gather. The method of constant repetition of a desire in the conscious mind, with faith and purpose, is the only known way to voluntarily develop the emotion of desire in its most intense form. Burning desire, explained Hill. This process recalibrates your nervous system to recognize and seize opportunities that have always been there, but that you couldn't see before. Money responds to the emotional intensity behind your desire. When your desire for prosperity is lukewarm, your results will be equally lukewarm. But when you take that desire to the point of obsession, when you refuse to accept financial mediocrity as your destiny, you create a vacuum that the universe must fill. Most people never experience a true burning desire. They live with "I would like" instead of "I must have." They confuse mild desire with the obsessive yearning that moves mountains. That's why their financial results are mediocre at best. Repeat this affirmation with emotional intensity. My desire for financial prosperity is an unstoppable force. I refuse to accept less than what I deserve. Money flows to me because my desire is so burning that it reorganizes the universe to satisfy it. People who have developed a burning desire for prosperity have a distinctive quality. They cannot be dissuaded. They don't care how many tell them it's impossible, how many obstacles they face, or how many failures they accumulate. Their desire is greater than any external resistance. Napoleon Hill discovered a fascinating pattern. The more specific and burning a person's financial desire was, the faster it manifested in their reality. It's not enough to desire more money. You must specify exactly how much money, by when, through what specific methods, and what you're willing to give in exchange. Burning desire acts as a beacon that guides all your daily decisions. It helps you distinguish between what brings you closer to your financial goal and what takes you away from it. It gives you the clarity necessary to say no to distractions that others find irresistible. It provides the emotional energy to get up after each fall. Have you noticed that when you really desire something with all your might, you begin to see opportunities related to that desire everywhere? This is no coincidence. Your brain has a reticular activation system that filters information based on what you consider important. When your desire for financial prosperity reaches the level of obsession, this system begins to show you paths to wealth that were always there, but were previously invisible to you. Burning desire not only attracts money, it retains and multiplies it. Many people manage to attract wealth temporarily, but without a burning desire to maintain and grow it, they lose it as easily as they obtained it. Statistics show that most lottery winners return to their original financial state in less than 5 years. Why? Because they obtained money without the burning desire necessary to manage it properly. By combining these 5 forces, decision, persistence, action, faith, and burning desire, you create a magnetic field so powerful that money begins to flow to you through channels you didn't even know existed. You'll no longer have to chase wealth. Wealth will chase you. What you need to understand is that these aren't simple words or theoretical concepts. They're living forces that, when activated and properly combined, literally alter your financial reality. Napoleon Hill didn't discover these principles in a laboratory. He extracted them from the real lives of the most prosperous men and women of his time, and the most amazing thing is that they continue to work exactly the same today, almost a century later. If until now your relationship with money has been one of scarcity, constant struggle, or stagnation, the reason is simple. You haven't activated these forces to their maximum expression. Perhaps you've made decisions, but you've lacked persistence. Or you've been persistent, but without the decisive action necessary. Or maybe you've acted, but without the unshakable faith that magnetizes abundance. Or you've had faith, but without the burning desire that moves mountains. The good news is that today you can begin to change your financial destiny. It's not necessary for all these forces to be born in you at once. You can start by cultivating one and then another, until they all work in harmonious synchrony to transform your financial reality. The difference between a life of financial struggle and one of full abundance isn't in external circumstances, but in how you activate and apply these 5 forces in your daily life. Did you know that most people in the top 1% wealthiest in the world weren't born into wealthy families? They studied and applied these principles consciously or unconsciously. They didn't wait for perfect circumstances. They didn't wait to have all the answers. They made firm decisions, persisted in the face of adversity, acted with determination, maintained unwavering faith, and nurtured a burning desire for financial success. Now, imagine for a moment that you've already mastered these 5 forces. Visualize what your financial life would be like. How would you feel waking up each morning knowing that money flows to you constantly? How would your relationships, health, and peace of mind change? What positive impact could you have on the world if financial resources ceased to be a limitation in your life? That reality is closer than you think. It's not a matter of luck or favorable circumstances. It's a matter of consciously applying these principles until they become part of your nature. Napoleon Hill spent more than 20 years studying the most successful men and women of his time to discover these principles. He interviewed Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, Henry Ford, Andrew Carnegie, and hundreds more. What he discovered was that, regardless of their industry or background, they all followed similar patterns of thought and action. These patterns are what I've revealed to you today. The question now is, what will you do with this information? Will you leave it as just another interesting piece of knowledge, or will you turn it into an action plan that transforms your financial reality? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Knowledge without action is useless. You can know these principles perfectly, you can quote them from memory, but if you don't implement them in your daily life, you won't see any change in your financial situation. So I propose a challenge. For the next 30 days, commit to living according to these 5 forces. Make a clear decision about your most important financial goal. Persist in it despite the obstacles that arise. Act daily, even if with small steps, toward that goal. Cultivate an unwavering faith in your ability to achieve it, and fan the flames of your desire until it becomes a constructive obsession. After 30 days, evaluate the changes, not just in your external circumstances, but in your way of thinking, your emotions, your energy. You'll notice that something has begun to change within you, and when you change inside, your outer world has no choice but to reflect that transformation. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve, wrote Hill. This isn't an empty motivational phrase, it's a scientific statement about the power of the human mind when aligned with universal principles. True wealth begins in the mind. If you can see it clearly, feel it deeply, and believe in it absolutely, you've taken the most important step toward its physical manifestation. Money is simply an external response to your internal alignment with prosperity. Are you tired of the constant struggle? Of working hard without seeing the results you deserve? Of watching others prosper while you remain trapped at the same financial level year after year? Then it's time for a radical change, not in your circumstances but in your way of thinking and acting. Circumstances will change as a natural consequence of your internal transformation. Napoleon Hill observed that most people never discover their true potential because they live according to limitations imposed by others or by their own past experiences. They settle for less than they could have because they believe it's realistic or practical. But the reality is that you have no idea what you're capable of until you apply these principles with total conviction. Your potential to generate wealth is virtually unlimited when you align your mind with the laws of prosperity. Think about this. What would happen if starting today you began to act like the prosperous person you aspire to be, not pretending or faking, but really adopting the thought patterns, decisions, and actions of someone who has already achieved what you seek? This is the essence of what Hill called acting as if. When you act as if you were already the prosperous person you want to be, you begin to attract the circumstances, people, and opportunities that make that image a reality. So are you ready to begin? To leave behind self-imposed limitations and embrace your true financial potential? To activate the 3 words that attract money immediately to your life and combine them with the faith and burning desire that enhance them exponentially? The moment of decision is now, not tomorrow, not when circumstances are perfect, not when you have more information. Now. Because as Hill discovered, decision is the first force that sets the entire process in motion. Decision, persistence, action, faith, burning desire. These are the forces that, when activated to their maximum expression, transform not only your financial reality, but your entire life. Money is energy. It flows to where it's directed by dominant thoughts backed by intense emotion and consistent action. When you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with prosperity, money has no choice but to flow to you. It's a law as immutable as gravity. So here's my final invitation. Write right now in the comments, I choose to activate the 3 words that attract money to my life. I decide firmly, I persist regardless of obstacles, and I act with determination each day. My faith is unwavering, and my desire is burning. Money flows to me naturally. This simple act of publicly declaring your intention will activate a subtle but powerful change in your psychology. It will commit you to a new path, and most importantly, it will send a clear signal to the universe about what you're willing to receive. Imagine looking back a year from now and seeing how this moment marked the turning point in your financial life. The moment you went from constantly struggling to living in abundance, the moment you stopped chasing money and began attracting it magnetically. That future is available to you right now. All you have to do is make that initial decision, the first step that sets everything in motion. Because at the end of the day, the difference between those who live in abundance and those who constantly struggle isn't in external circumstances. It's in the decisions they make, the persistence they demonstrate, the actions they take, the faith they maintain, and the desire they nurture. And you? What do you choose? To continue as before, or to activate these forces and transform your financial reality forever? The decision is yours. and that decision by itself is already attracting or repelling the prosperity you seek. So decide now. Persist no matter what. Act with determination. Cultivate your faith. Fan your desire. And watch how money begins to flow to you in ways you never imagined possible. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, activate the notification bell, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Together, we can create a world where abundance is the norm, not the exception. Because true wealth isn't just in having money, but in becoming the person capable of creating, maintaining, and multiplying it. And that journey begins with the decision you make today.